now we're going to turn to a discussion about the role and responsibilities of the registrars who work with boards of ordained ministry and with district committees. If you're just joining in, my name is Meg Lassiat, and I'm the Director of Candidacy, Mentoring, and Conference Relations for the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry. I work with boards of ordained ministry in the development of resources and the use of the Online Candidacy Application System, or OCAS. This presentation will outline the overall work of the registrars and will provide a basic overview of the Online Candidacy Application System. Updates to the candidacy process and legislative action coming out of General Conference will be presented in detail during the September 12th webinar that GBHEM is offering on legislative changes. In addition to the board chair, the registrar is the only other officer mandated by the discipline. However, each board can determine the number and types of registrars it will utilize. This will vary from one annual conference to another. In annual conferences that have hired or appointed a staff person to work with the board, the candidacy registrar and the online candidacy responsibilities are often assigned to that person. Again, with this presentation, the Book of Discipline numbers that I refer to are those from the new 2012 Book of Discipline. I have heard that the new discipline will be available sometime in December. In the meantime, you can refer to the posted draft edition at gbhem.org/BOM. The candidacy registrar, which is sometimes called the BOM registrar, maintains records for all those in the candidacy, licensing, and ordination application processes, and coordinates the responsibilities of any associate registrars. The board registrar works with each district committee registrar to ensure appropriate communication among district committees and the board, and to maintain consistency in the application process across the annual conference. The registrar also works closely with the board and conference secretary to report information for the business of the annual conference report and the clergy session. Many boards will divide responsibilities for work related to deacons, elders, and local pastors by assigning an associate registrar to oversee the licensing and ordination processes for these different groups. Depending on your situation and the number of candidates and provisional members your conference interviews each year, you may want to consider registrars to coordinate application, transfer, and certification in specialized ministry as well. Take a couple minutes to discuss these questions on the slide. Who fulfills which registrar position for your board? Has your board named the appropriate number of registrars to meet the application needs you will manage each year? What are the responsibilities of your BOM staff person? And are there any areas of the board's work where you may want to consider adding a registrar? The disciplinary requirements for the work of the registrars are outlined in paragraphs 635.2 and 3 and include communication, reporting on recommendations for candidates, maintaining accurate records, and ensuring appropriate confidentiality in the application process. As I talk about the registrar's responsibilities, keep in mind that many of these tasks apply to both BOM and district registrars. Conferences need to have a district candidacy registrar for each district committee who maintains records on the progress and status of candidates until they are received into provisional membership, licensed, or discontinued. When a candidate receives a license for pastoral ministry and begins serving as a local pastor, the district committee is still responsible for the annual approval of that person's license. However, the records for local pastors may or may not be kept by the district registrar. You may decide to assign that task to someone else, depending on how many local pastors and candidates are in each district for your annual conference. So the candidacy registrar for the district functions in many ways like the BOM registrar, but at the district level. The communication responsibilities are twofold. Candidates need to receive written information about the process, your board's timeline, and any upcoming deadlines. District committees and boards also need to be kept aware of where each candidate is in the process. When a candidate comes for an interview, the registrar should be able to inform the committee what decisions for recommendation or action need to be made by the committee, and the registrar should know the process and requirements for each vote. For example, a vote to certify a candidate must be a 3/4 approval and a written ballot. Registrars are responsible for ensuring that all candidates received prompt verbal and written communication regarding the outcome of all decisions made either by the district committee or the board. Written documentation includes the reasons for the board's decision, and in the case of a delay or a denial, any requirements that the candidate will need to complete before reapplying should be clearly explained. Written documentation of interview decisions is critical in helping the candidate understand the decision and any requirements that result from the interview. The BOM and district committee will also need a written history in a candidate's file as that person proceeds through the candidacy, licensing, and ordination process. There's a lot of detailed work that goes into the record-keeping responsibilities. The General Counsel on Finance and Administration has provided guidelines for maintaining personnel and supervisory files for all candidates and clergy. Those guidelines are in Chapter 3 of the current BOM handbook posted on the GBHEM site, and they will be in Chapter 27 of the new BOM handbook when that becomes available. I'll show you now where the handbook is located. When you launch your browser, the simplest way to get there is to type in gbhem.org/BOM handbook. You'll see there that we have the different chapters posted as separate PDFs. You can download the areas that you need as related to the work you are doing. Right now, the work of the district committees is here in Chapter 2, and the work of the registrars is in Chapter 3. We have already revised the registrars chapter, and I will make that available to you at the end of this presentation. Again, this handbook is for the 2009 quadrennium, and I am working to get this updated by this fall. A lot of questions come up around the issue of confidentiality and the parameters of what candidates can expect regarding confidentiality versus what clergy who are not members of the board can request to see when making a decision about a recommendation during the clergy session of the annual conference. The registrar is responsible for protecting candidates against any undue invasion of privacy and ensures that information is not divulged to inappropriate parties. However, and this is from paragraph 635.2M, it is the right of the clergy session to request and receive all pertinent information, confidential or otherwise, related to the qualifications or character of any candidate or clergy member of the conference. Paragraph 635.2M, which was previously 635.2L, provides guidelines for this question. Additionally, that paragraph refers to Judicial Council Decisions 406 and 751 that outline the basis and understanding of candidate and clergy confidentiality regarding conference relationship and membership status decisions. If your annual conference is working with this issue, I encourage you to read those Judicial Council decisions. I will be sharing this PowerPoint slide with you at the end of the session today. So if you don't get everything that is on these next slides, it will be available for your reference. We're going to finish today by looking at the Online Candidacy Application System, which is also known as OCAS. The Candidacy Registrar maintains a lot of the system for your annual conference, including adding trained candidacy mentors or updating mentors for candidates. The registrar trains those in your conference in how to use the system, responds to questions from your annual conference, and works with GBHEM when there are questions or problems with the system's operation. Before we go through an overview of OCAS, let me show you how to link there from the GBHEM webpage. If you go to the GBHEM webpage and type in go to gbhem.org/beginning candidacy. This takes you to our candidacy page. Look over here on the right side where it says important announcement, candidacy enrollment is now available online, and that is a link that will take you to the Online Candidacy homepage that you're seeing here. Another way to get to this screen is to simply type canapply.gbhem.org, and that will take you straight to the home page as well for OCAS. By now, all new registrars should have received an email invitation to create an account in OCAS. If you are a new candidacy registrar and have not yet received an invitation to create this account, please contact Paula Gardner-Porter this week, and she can assist you. I'll be giving you her contact information later in this presentation. So this is the home screen for the Online Candidacy System. Notice up here that there is a link for you to add a bookmark to your browser to save this page. Additionally, if you forget your password, you can click on this link right here to reset your account. GBHEM does not keep records of users' passwords. We do not know that, so this is the only way that you are able to reset your account. Once you have signed into your account, this is the page you'll see as a candidacy registrar. When you want to invite a new candidate, click on the Invite Candidate tab and complete the required information, and then select Save and Invite. This generates an invitation email that is immediately sent to the candidate. There is no lag time in how long it takes the system to send the invitation. But before you enter a new candidate, please make sure that that person has entered candidacy@gbhem.org into their contact list. If the candidate doesn't do that, the invitation sent by OCAS may go into their junk mail, or their email address will not allow them to receive that email from this account. And if you're going to assign a different mentor to a candidate who is already in the system, you'll need to use the Assign Mentor tab. The steps on this slide will walk you through how to make that switch when you need to do that. These are the basic functions that are used by candidacy registrars in the operation of OCAS. I would also highly recommend from the home page on the online system that you link to the Navigating the Online Candidacy Process. It's there on the home page on the bottom, and that will provide you with a user's guide and more information about the details of OCAS. Paula Gardner-Porter is also available to work with candidacy registrars as they become assimilated to using the new system. Additionally, at the BOM quadrennial training event in Dallas, we will offer 2 workshop sessions. One will be dedicated to understanding the candidacy process and another to using the online system. These sessions are developed with registrars in mind, so it is helpful for this person to plan to attend this event in Dallas if at all possible. These are some of the most popular questions we field in the candidacy office. We do not know nor keep track of user passwords. The only way to access your account again if you forget your password is to reset it. Additionally, one of the concerns we have is in mentors or the annual conference not completing Form 113 when a candidate has either been withdrawn, denied, or certified. We need this information for a couple of reasons. We use the Online Candidacy System to confirm that a candidate is certified when that person is applying for a scholarship from GBHEM. If the system doesn't show the certification, the candidate won't meet that qualification and therefore won't qualify for scholarship funds. Additionally, tracking the outcome of a candidate's process provides history if the candidate ever happens to move to a different annual conference and begin candidacy again there. Finally, the most common question we receive comes from those who haven't received an invitation email even though they've been entered into OCAS. Everyone who uses the system, whether they are candidates, district superintendents, registrars, or BOM staff, need to enter candidacy@gbhem.org into their contact list. This is the only way to ensure that emails sent by the system won't go into junk mail. Be sure, too, to enter this email address before a new user is invited into OCAS. Regarding the psychological assessment process, about half of the annual conferences right now use GBHEM to administer candidates' psychological assessments. These are some of the most popular questions regarding that process. Release of information forms need to be returned together with the completed assessment packet, and additionally, Form 112, the form that initiates the psychological assessment process, must be completed online. We also will provide a psychological assessment retest if your annual conference finds it necessary for a candidate. In doing that, please contact the assessment coordinator so we can walk you through the steps for that process. If you have questions about the use of OCAS or about the psychological assessment process, please contact Paula Gardner-Porter. If you are a candidacy registrar and don't yet have access to OCAS, it may mean that GBHEM has not received your annual conference's updated officers list. Paula will be able to work with you in providing access to OCAS. As we close this portion of the webinar, I want to show you the banner head that our office uses for e-newsletters. The one for registrars is purple. It has the same format, but this one is purple. I've been hearing from a few people lately that they still are not receiving these newsletters, which means that GBHEM does not have your updated contact information for the new board officers. Please let me know if that is the case, and we can work with you to update officers for the new quadrennium. My contact information is on the next slide. Send me an email or type something in here, and I will follow up with you. We have sent out information for the September 12th webinar on legislation, as well as information about the BOM quadrennial training event that will be in Dallas. Registration is open for each of these, and there's information in the e-newsletters on how to register. As we wrap up this section, I want to again remind you of the gbhem.org/BOM page. As you prepare to train your district committees and new boards, the Training Resources page has a collection of information that will help you